Sup everyone, Darkscream217 here. With me is a special guest, Multifire. I pronounced his name correctly.
Hey everyone,
And Multifire, you're lazy. Why are you lazy?
because I don't want to go out and find my own. I don't got time to go out and search for my own anime these days.
No, he doesn't like to research jack. So we're doing a little experiment here. A lot of people usually enjoy these or not enjoy these dual these anime panels between you and me, especially some of our controversial ones. One Piece being the worst anime ever, according to you. But but we're gonna see if our subscribers know anime as much as I do, and can recommend stuff for you. They could try and recommend stuff for me, but to be honest, if they do, I'm just gonna tell them I've seen it. And we have listed off our favorite animes and stuff we like to see from them and stuff we don't like to see, so we can help guide you guys into what into a decision-making process. And I'm talking too much. Can you chime in anytime soon, please?
Yeah, here I am. So yeah, we're just gonna start listing off some of the plot devices that we like, and some of the plot devices we hate, and some of the anime we love, and some of the anime we hate. For some of the examples, and you guys can analyze our tastes and see if you can guess something that matches our taste that we haven't heard of before.
I'm just gonna let you know the reason why it'll never work, that you'll probably won't recommend anything for me. Well, there was this one guy on YouTube who recommended like three different anime to me. I've seen the two of the three, and I actually liked them a lot. Um, it's just I remember this one guy I talked to on Skype. His username eludes me, but since I was liking shows like Genshiken and manga like Alley House, he tried to recommend some stuff to me that are shows that are very similar in that nature, or manga that's similar in that nature. And I repeated myself there twice. Anyways, everything he recommended, I was like, seen it. He's like, Cosplay Complex, seen it. DramaCon, seen it. And he's like, well, I guess my job here is done. You were working? But since you're the guy who should get some anime recommended to him, Mister, you can't stand annoying one-dimensional characters. Fucking calling Luffy an one-dimensional character. I don't like One Piece as much, but I fucking doubt that that's true. The one-dimensional part, at least. If it's a series that's like 500 episodes and still going, I can't buy the fact that he is. He has to have some development.
He's a silly son of a bitch. I don't see anything else from him. Even when he's trying to be serious, he's just a silly looking. I don't know. I don't like him.
You can
I never have. He's worse than Naruto. He's
the
worse than Halle Berry and Catwoman.
only reason why you brought that up is because we had this argument yesterday.
Yeah.
I still think Catwoman was a worse movie than The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark. They're both terrible movies, but at least Catwoman had a consistent plot.
Catwoman was consistently bad. At least The Dark Knight had some good things about it. Dark Knight Rises.
Like
Dark.
what?
Well, I like Tom Hardy's acting, and
What acting? All he
the,
did was walk around and do this, Batman, for the entire movie.
I also thought Anne Hathaway was a fantastic Catwoman.
She was a good Catwoman. Her
Better
costume
than
was silly.
better than fucking Halle Berry's.
She was definitely better than Halle Berry's Catwoman, yeah.
There we go. Okay, but back onto the subject of anime. What the hell do you like? List the shows that you like.
Alright, for some animes that I like Evangelion, Code Geass, Full Metal Panic, Tenchi, Kaze no Stigma, Demon King Daimao, Bleach, The Gray Man, and Desert Punk are some of the examples of things that I like from my anime. Um, there's lesser stuff like Ikitosen and stuff like that, the fan servicey anime. I can sometimes like those as well, but they're a little more rare.
Hmm. Okay, we'll discuss. We'll go into the meat of those later. But here's my list. Some of it's pretty obvious. Genshiken, Tenchi, El Hazard, Azumanga Daioh, Excel Saga, Slayers, Dragon Half, Dirty Pair, both the original and Flash. Flash wasn't as good, but I still found it to be pretty entertaining. Bamboo Blade, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, Gunsmith Cats, Riding Bean, Sailor Moon, both the anime and the manga, which I'm still currently reading. Welcome to the NHK, both anime and manga. I finished both of those. Great Teacher Onizuka, I really need to read the manga of that. Haruhi-chan, the parody series based off of Haruhi Suzumiya. I like it, but not enough to put it on the list. But Haruhi-chan I thought was pretty damn funny. And in terms of just manga so far is Negima and Higurashi.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty list. I watch a lot of shit. I also like Desert Punk, but I haven't seen all of it to give it a final verdict. But what I'm seeing
I
is
haven't
pretty entertaining so far.
I haven't seen the ending either. Should I list off some manga that I like too? There isn't a whole lot.
Go ahead.
Uh, I like Flame of Recca and I like Wolf's Rain, and those are the only two I actually own. So that was a short list.
Really, you don't want to mention Battle Club?
That's right. I read Battle Club and I read Ikitosen.
No, man, you hated Battle Club at first, and then all of a sudden it got so fucking bad and silly, it actually got entertaining to read.
It started to know it was stupid and it
Yeah.
started to act as such. There was also Berserk. I read Berserk, and Berserk was fantastic, but it just got way too. It just kept getting darker and darker to the point that it was unreadable, in my
The hell is
opinion.
darker than a kid getting slowly dying from a sword stab wound?
A girl who has a fetish for torturing people to death, becoming one of the main characters in the series.
Casca? Or is that a
No,
different character? Okay.
that's a different character.
Okay, I was about to say, when did
But
she?
Casca does become retarded, so
I was about to say, when did she develop that? What was her name? Cascus? I don't know. It's,
it was Casca. She becomes retarded immediately after the cartoon ends.
oh, dude, that sucks. That really does suck if you actually have seen the end of the anime or older cartoon. I'm just kidding. That doesn't bother me either way.
I guess we should have put a spoiler warning before I said that.
Yeah, you know, that anime's over a decade now. Either you've seen it already or you haven't and don't care for it. That's what I think.
Yeah. I don't. I wouldn't recommend reading the manga unless you're okay with super, super dark shit. Because the manga is much darker than the cartoon, which is saying a lot. Because the cartoon is already like the darkest cartoon ever. So,
Yeah. So, terms of material, what did you like from all of them?
all right. Well, I like the underground society and secret soldier plots.
Like,
I like rebellions. Like Code Geass had like the rebellion going on for it. I like Bleach for the Soul Society and all that stuff. I like the Gray Man for their demon hunters, and I like those team-based secret society super soldier plots. They're a lot of fun in my opinion.
speaking
Uh,
of demon hunting and stuff related to soul societies and whatever, have you seen Yu Yu Hakusho? Because I could probably recommend some stuff directly to you just from what you're listing off.
I've seen Yu Yu Hakusho. I liked it as a kid, but I haven't rewatched it in a long time, so that might be something I look at rewatching.
Yeah, something you were like, this may not be as good as I remembered, just like Lovehina.
But I like that. I like super and magical powers, giant mechas, robots, and fantasy and sci-fi and future plots and stuff like that. Desert Punk had the sci-fi and future plot going for it. Um, Almost all of these have stuff going for it in terms of superpowers and the giant mechas from Code Geass and Evangelion. And I forgot to put Gundam animes on my list, but I've seen a lot of Gundam, so there's no need to recommend any of those to me. So
Okay, there could be stuff similar to Gundam, other mecha anime that you might like. Uh,
yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I'm not that proficient in this series, and before people recommend Gurren Lagann, you've already seen it.
Yeah, I forgot to put that on the list too.
Um, I don't know. In terms of mecha, I actually watch a lot of the super robot genre. Apparently, those two are separated. It's a type of mecha where people fight with other mechas and then they combine to one super mecha, something along the lines of Voltron slash Go Lion. I'm in the middle of watching Go Danner, which I'm liking so far. Magus said he hated it, but to be honest, this is where Magus and I have a difference of opinion here. I don't think it's as bad and fan surfy as he makes it out to be. It's nowhere near on the caliber of Vicky Tosin.
That sounds interesting. What's the plot of it?
Um, it's been a while, and I've only seen like the first 3 or 4 episodes. It's a 26 episode series. I plan to watch more of it, and the reason why I picked this up is because it was only $20. I get shit on bargains, trust me.
It's called Go Dandy.
Go Danner. Go
Go
Dandy.
Dana.
It just
We
sounds.
just had a discussion earlier about how I'm really bad with names.
He could not get Gendo Akari's name. He could
I
not get
blinked.
it. Okay. Um, let's see. All I know is that a bunch of monsters are attacking and threatening peace. Blah blah blah. Um, this one dude pilots a mech, and he's part of a little team-based unit. And it's like I said, it's been a while. See, it shows like an opening scene, and then it skips ahead several years later. He rescues some girl who was 14 years old at the time. The dude's like 20 something, like mid to late 20s, probably early 30s. A couple years later, they get married. Um, and apparently their two mechs can combine to make a super mech. And I'm not having the giggle fits. Again, we had some problems, recording this several times. But I just I really need to watch that show more. I just really need to start all over again, watch it from start to finish. But all I can tell you is that it's pretty entertaining and it has some elements I like about the show. And that I like in some other anime too.
What are the elements that you like?
Well, for one thing, I'm a character man. The reason why I watch anything is because I like characters. It doesn't have to be story based, it doesn't have to have a plot structure. But if it doesn't have those, it better have characters that are interesting. And if it's a comedy, god damn it, be funny, please. Um, like Genshiken. The reason why I like that show is because I find myself relatable in some way to each of the characters. Same with Azumanga Daioh, believe it or not. Um, what else? They don't have to be relatable. They just have to be entertaining in some way, shape, or form. I think I mentioned this before. And what I like to see in anime, they have to be people that wouldn't mind hanging out with in real life. Going to an arcade or something. They just
Yeah.
have to be great characters. And like I said, I'm a character person. Excel Saga. Oh boy, here we go. I like this anime, but again, it's really difficult for me to recommend this to anyone. The main character, Excel, is possibly one of the most annoying characters in the entire existence of anime. For some reason, I was able to put up with her. Probably because she doesn't get a whole lot of screen time in the anime. I don't know. I mean, her voice was so bad in that in the English dub, the voice actress for her for the first 13 episodes, she actually fucked up her voice. She fucked it up, and she had to be replaced for the second half of the series.
Oh, wow.
And you can hear the screechiness in that voice, dude. Both voice actresses, Jessica Calvello and Larissa Walker, are the same. But again, this is a character that talks really, really fast and really loud. That's probably what makes her annoying. She talks really fast and really loud. I have managed to piss off and annoy random people when I showed this to my friends. I managed to do that. That being said, what made Excel Saga a lot really enjoyable is because it was something I barely see before in anime. Nowadays, I do see it from time to time, but I was looking for something on the caliber of Fully Cooley, and this was that times 10 in some aspects. It was really funny. It was really out there. It had fourth wall humor. It had some puns that there were that hit or miss. Um, it was just an overall quirky, hilarious anime. And I showed this to the anime club once at my local college, and we actually managed to like sit through like 10 or 11 episodes for the semester. So yeah, in terms of comedy, I do like I do like to go for comedies more, and I would like to. I like to laugh. I like to feel good. Here's the problem though. Most recent comedies I've been checking out, I'm really not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, they've been all really slice of life, and the jokes really haven't been humorous. They've just
Exactly.
been
They're
kind of relatable.
they've all been almost the same show, dude. And like I like slices of life, but my God, there's more to life than just high school, Japan.
Yeah, high school and teenage girls.
While we're on the subject of Japan and high school, let's roll into what you don't like to see in anime, and that's the first thing. And you're not alone in this too. I've actually seen someone rant about this.
Um, I don't really like school settings. I do enjoy school settings, but they're so often now that I try to avoid them. So if you're gonna recommend something to me, don't recommend something that involves a school setting. If it does involve a school setting and it's just super, super good, it cannot involve a harem or a tsundere.
Okay,
So
that's a
good
good
luck with
argument.
that.
I can recommend something to you. It's actually on my list. Azumagadayo. No harems, no tsundere. In fact, no romantic subplot of any kind.
People have, it's been recommended to me a lot. People really like that, so I'm gonna have to check it
It's
out.
just a straightforward slice of life comedy, except it's funnier than Lucky Star. Not gonna lie, I like Lucky Star, but Azumagadayo is still better to me. Um, Again, character-driven base. And some episodes do have some kind of structure to it. Like they have like three different vacation episodes, three different sports festival episodes. Um, they had an episode about and some of these characters are really damn interesting. Um, One of the characters, Sakaki, she's like this talented, athletic girl, but she's like very introverted, and she's often seen as being intimidating at some points. One of the things she likes to do is that she wants to pet cats, but she can't because every time she tries to pet a cat, they freaking eat her hand. By the way, these cats they look like cute, adorable versions of Chain Chops from Super Mario Brothers. You just have to see some of the scenes yourself. But yeah, high school setting, but it doesn't have the two things you don't want to see, so I can recommend that to you if you're into comedies. But you're more story structured though. You want to see a good story. You want to see deep, thought provoking stuff. I know.
I like deep thought provoking stuff, and I like deep thought provoking stuff in like crazy worlds that do not exist, or crazy neo future post apocalyptic worlds or fantasy settings and stuff like that. I really don't like seeing um, shows that are tethered to the real world because I don't watch anime to see the real world and to see reality.
I I just want to get out of this world of a-holes and douchebags so I can turn on the TV to watch some a-holes and douchebags.
Exactly.
Patton Oswalt, best comedian ever. I do like to go for a futuristic sci-fi setting, but I hate post-apocalyptic settings. Desert Punk is an exception to the rule because it's that entertaining of a show. Um, but and I can try to watch things that may have stuff I don't like in it if there's enough pros to counterbalance it. Um, you can give me unlikable characters or characters who start off pretty bad at first, but they better have an arc where they quickly develop or change. That's what an arc is, where they change to a better person some way. Granted, in Genshiken, I actually really despised the character Saki Kasakabe at first. Thankfully, thanks to the stuff I mentioned, she actually became a liker, nicer, more enjoyable character among the cast. And she's nowhere near on my least favorite character list from that series, anime or manga. But I do hate Kuchiki from Genshiken. He's just fucking annoying, and there's nothing that can be done. And just please, somebody just get some gasoline and just burn him.
Just destroy him.
He's just so fucking obnoxious, dude. I can't stand him.
So, I guess other things I hate are, I've already mentioned Sundaries with very few exceptions. I hate plots that involve one and only one, like, overpowered character where you start off as sort of a team, but then one guy just gets super, super OP by the end of the series. Like, Bleach is sort of a victim of this. That's why people say the later seasons are completely unwatchable. Um, it's just I hate the idea of just one character just taking over everything, and that's why I have problems
The
with
John
DBZ
Cena
and stuff like that.
effect.
Yeah, yeah. DBZ is sort of the exception to the rule, but it is sort of an example where you have the
Yeah.
Goku only comes in to clean house.
The worst
He's like
part
the
is,
Rock.
I hear a lot of so-called behind-the-scenes discussions about Dragon Ball Z and what was originally supposed to be planned. Like Gohan was originally supposed to be a hero, whatever. And, I could buy that, but then I've heard executive meddling led to more Goku push. And the only reason Goku was like the exception to this is because I grew up with DBZ as a kid. I can watch Kai because it cuts out all the BS. I don't know if I can watch the classic DBZ I grew up with when I was a kid because
Takes forever.
yeah. On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, somebody might throw a punch.
I always got pissed off as a kid when they just stood there talking the entire episode.
Speaking of slow pacing, I don't like anime that just take forever for shit to get done. Reason why I don't check out a whole lot of shonen stuff. Because it's like how can I, buy that a fight sequence can be like 3 episodes. Most of it's dedicated to I will explain how my attack works in some very unnecessarily convoluted way that can only work well when you're writing a manga, but not in a piece of animation. That
Yeah.
was I couldn't finish the first story arc in Naruto because of this. I couldn't.
Which part?
The one with Zabuza and Haku at that bridge arc or something.
Yeah,
This was
that got a little annoying.
before Rock Lee was introduced.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Speak.
It had a pretty dramatic ending. My friend was pissed off they didn't kill Sasuke.
They never will. Um, Another thing I don't like. Try to not recommend anything like this. Do not recommend stuff that are story driven to the point where they need to explain and exposit every little thing.
Why going around in circles?
Oh yeah, I saw the first episode of Fate Zero. They actually had a scene where they were explaining something, and these two guys were walking around this one guy in circles in an attempt to make the scene look interesting. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Some dude, people hate it when I walk around them and they make them nervous. I would tell these guys to knock it off and just sit at a coffee table. Because do we really need to expend the animation budget on you assholes walking while explaining the Holy Grail tournament? I mean, we only got 5 episodes to do it. Like, I heard Fate Zero, and I have seen some scenes of Fate Zero where the action is great, but again, that first part, trying to get everything out of the way. You need to have a balance between the action and and the break moments where you have to explain some stories or develop some characters and whatnot.
Yeah,
It needs to be a perfect balance. Now, I'm not looking for a lot of things too fast paced, but I like a good even amount. Like I said,
yeah,
a lot of the anime, especially in the first episodes of a lot of things, they always have to explain the entire lore instead of just jumping right into something. In fact, we had this discussion before. What's the thing that really hooks us in at the beginning of an anime, especially one that's action oriented?
yeah. Stories, in our opinion, I guess, should always begin with a strong action scene.
It's true though. I,
Something to hook our, like, really capture our interest. Because who cares about people talking? That isn't exciting. It's not a good way to get to know the characters.
Even if the action sequence has to be like a few seconds short, it's good. It'll be a little satisfying enough. Like for example, the beginning of Slayers, you see like Lena Inverse attack a bandit camp and clean house. That was
Yeah,
pretty cool. You finally get to see what she was like. It was like, wow, this little teenager is a really powerful sorceress, and she just roasted that dude into a fireball and died. That was something that hooked me into the series. Um, God,
yeah.
what else? Let's see if I can pull up stuff in my opening sequence.
Well,
In some of the anime I listed off. Tenchi Universe opened with Ryoko crashing on Earth, and Tenchi
yeah,
sees her, and then she comes up with a phony baloney story about being attacked by a space pirate. Wacky chase scene happens. Hilarity ensues. You promised we would die together. No, I didn't.
yeah. That was classic.
Excel Saga opens in the first 60 seconds of Excel getting hit by a truck and dying. I'm not making that up. But that's of course if your anime isn't really action paced or isn't an action genre, or or maybe if it isn't really a straight up, if it's like a comedy or a slice of life, then you probably do need something else to hook the audience in. But then again, let's go back to Azumanga Daioh. It actually opens up with one of the parts from the manga that actually happened later on in volume midway into volume one. It actually opens up with the teacher being late for school, riding on the bike, and she sees a student that goes to the same school, tries to help her out, getting her chain fixed, and he thought he could get a get out of jail card for not being late for class. So when he was about to ask her about that, she already took that dude's bike and just drove off to school. I thought that was the funniest thing ever, because it's just something a teacher shouldn't, wouldn't, couldn't do, and it was funny because of that.
Yeah,
So yeah, you gotta have something to hook, line, sinker people with an interesting opening. When you open up with just explaining something and then not doing much of anything, and a lot of first episodes of anime are like this now. It's kind of
yeah,
sad. Like Magical Shopping Arcade, Benabashi was actually kind of slow paced and not interesting. And it's funny because that episode, as well as like another episode or two, are just completely different from the rest of the tone of the fucking series. The tone is pretty much fully coolie. It's pretty much fully coolie.
I mean, it's just like the basics of writing. If you were to go to the library and open up a novel, and the first two sentences were like, John woke up, then he went to school, the chances are you're going to close that fucking book and never look at it again because it's boring. It doesn't capture your interest.
uh,
No one cares that John went to school.
you hear that, John? No one cares.
One of our fans is named John is just like crying at his keyboard right now.
Oh god, that would be so weird. But Well, let's get to stuff I like, because maybe people can, list off some things that I might check out. But again, there are some anime I have seen, but I haven't really finished, and I kind of already like. But just way too many to list. So you're not gonna do a good job recommending stuff to me. But like I said, other than characters, I do prefer a show with some serious elements, but still overall kind of fun. Maybe a little bit campy, but it's more fun than dark and dramatic. Like I said, it can have some serious elements in it, especially during the climax of like the final battle sequence of at the end of the series or something. Slayers had these moments. There was another fantasy anime called it actually got relicensed recently. Ruin Explorers. I've seen that series. It had a lot of elements similar to Slayers. I really liked that. I also mentioned comedy. If you could recommend an anime of the '90s I haven't heard of, and trust me, that is possible since I've seen Space Pirate Mito before, even though I haven't heard of it. Yeah, recommend something to me that was made in the '90s. I may definitely teeter towards it more because I am a '90s man.
Yeah, I miss the old campy 90s plots.
Um, I prefer my anime to be a decent length, preferably around the 26 episode range, but I don't know if I can stand shows that are like 50 episodes or more.
Yeah, same here.
And again, sci-fi or fantasy. Sci-fi, like I said, no post-apocalyptic. It could be cyberpunk. It could be something like Bubblegum Crisis. Um, but
How do you feel about steampunk?
really don't care for it much. I know it's a new fad now. In fact, like there's a convention coming up soon that's going to have a steampunk theme event going on, but it's cool. I like the idea of like making, futuristic technology but still giving an old century old 2 century old feel to it. But I don't know. Do you have any steampunk anime you can think of?
But no, not really.
You know, maybe Desert Punk can be categorized as steampunk because they did have some
Yeah,
steampunk elements in it, like that tank in episode 3.
yeah, and it is called desert punk, so.
Yeah. Um, we gotta have awesome male protagonists.
Yes, I missed that so much. That's actually what captured my interest with Kaze no Stigma. The male protagonist, he was interesting and wasn't just like the modern, submissive, overly abused male.
Okay. As for me, I do prefer my characters to be masculine, has to look like a dude. Um, can be flawed, but like I said, the pros about them can outweigh the cons. Like Kentaro Oe from Golden Boy, the guy's a pervert, but the guy's a multi-talented dude. Bean Bandit knows stuff about cars, excellent knife thrower, has the strength of a Terminator. Uh, boy, you should have seen the reaction of the anime club when I showed them that. They were like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, he just football tackled a car." Great teacher Onizuka, very similar to Kentaro Oe, and in the sense that he's also a little bit preferred. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I didn't give GTO a chance beyond the first episode, back then I probably would have dropped it. But I was merciful at the time, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually a great anime." Um, characters similar to them. Um, definitely don't want a wimpy male character in there that I swear to God, especially in most recent harem anime, that are just thrown there for the sake of being thrown there because if they don't have a guy in there, they can't have a harem anime. But they don't try to write the character interesting anymore.
The Lovehina effect.
Yes. Um, definitely, and if you are going to put a male character in there in a harem, I do like him to be at least similar to either Keiichi Morisato from I'm a Goddess or even like Tenchi. Even though I do criticize Tenchi's reluctantness sometimes. But then again, I
Yeah.
criticize Andy Bogart's reluctantness more. He has to just choose one woman that's interested in him.
We had I remember we had this giant debate forever ago on whether Tenchi was gay or not.
Yeah, just so you know, Andy Bogart's a character from Fatal Fury. He's a ninja. He's Terry's younger brother, who's also a ninja. Mai Shiranui actually really loves him, but Andy has shown no interest or something. I don't know why. Whatever. I get. Whatever. Dragon Half, that was a comedy that's similar to Excel Saga and has elements of Slayers. I was saddened by the fact that the series got prematurely canceled after 2 episodes. It was supposed to be a 4 episode OVA.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I wish the manga was licensed here, but I don't think it is.
There's a lot of awesome shit that we don't get over here, and it's really frustrating.
Most of it's in the manga department too. Have you read the Elfen Lied manga?
I have not.
It is so much better than the anime. Like the anime's good, but I hated its ending. But the manga was fucking amazing.
I mean, I don't want to experience Elfenlied again. I'm traumatized enough as it is.
Me, I'm not traumatized enough. That's why I'm playing Corpse Party.
Wow, that's good luck to you.
I'm not traumatized enough. Um, That doesn't mean I like a lot of dark anime. Elfen Lied and Higurashi and School Days are like the only three I've seen. I'm not interested in checking out Monster. I know a lot of people really love to praise that anime. I don't know if that's a horror or not. Not sure if that's a horror genre or not. Um, but
I don't know anything about Monster.
if it's called Monster, you may like it. Who knows? If it's called Monster, then I would Monster. Monster.
If there's such a thing as a sort of a monster slasher anime out there, I'd totally watch it. If it's not Higurashi, because I already know that exists. I might check out Higurashi. I'm just saying I already know that exists.
I'm trying to think of one right now, but I can't. I would recommend Gantz, but I haven't seen it.
I know they have slasher films in Japan because I actually watched one just the other day.
Hmm.
It's called Black Rat. It was really good.
Hmm. Uh, anything else you like?
I pretty much listed off all the major things I liked. With the giant robots and the mechas. I love mechas. I can't get enough mechas. Toss all the mechas on me and
Yeah,
I'll be
just
good.
chuck them out and sell it to them. Actually, explain why it's good. um,
There's this one anime that's out that I already know exists. If people are looking for the superpowered thing, there's Tiger and Bunny. I already know about that. And I've been meaning to check it out, I just haven't gotten around to it.
I'm thinking about picking up the DVDs.
So I know that exists,
You've
but
already
I'm pretty
seen
much
Star Driver.
I have, and I love Star Driver. I have not finished it yet. I have a problem with not finishing animes that I start.
I am on you. I'm with you on that. I swear, one day I will, like, finish up all the unfinished anime and do a quick little discussion about each of them. Not a full-fledged review, just a quickie to the point and a series of anime that I've seen. So, I guess are we close to summing it all up?
We haven't gone through our list of anime we hate yet, have we?
Well, we've already. Well, okay, we could do that now. I already talked about the anime I hate so many times to the point where I'm sick of bringing them up, and I have to bring up another one again in the future because of a video I promised to be with in for Big Al.
All right, well, okay. I'm just gonna go through them and just say One Piece, Pilot Candidate, R15, Sket Dance, Wagnari, and Heaven's Lost Property are prime examples of anime I hate. I don't want to see lollies in an anime,
And you say you don't want
and
to see Sundaries. Well, I got some anime you should fucking avoid right now. Avoid Toradora and avoid Zero no Sakaima. They have both on there. A Lali Sundari. If
that's
that's
awful.
yeah, that just sounds like it'll kill you. Same voice actress too, so.
Sundaries have ruined anime for me,
You
like
said you
entirely.
used to like Heaven's Lost Property.
I did. I liked Heaven's Lost Property until randomly in the middle of the series they introduced a Sundari, and then not later, earlier last year, I was watching a series. I was really into it. It was one of those cheesy boys get put into this all-girls school sort of plots. There's this one submissive chick who, in the middle of the series, became a Sundari and ruined the series. Sundaris ruin the series because you grow to like this male character, and then all of a sudden a new character comes in and just shits all over that character. It's just like the Cheers effect. I don't know if anyone watched Cheers, but they
What?
replaced.
Yeah, I have seen Cheers, and for those who don't know about it, if you ever seen that one episode of Adventure Time with the flashback with Simon and Marceline, Simon was singing the Cheers theme.
Yeah,
I shit you not.
yeah, that was awesome. But in the middle of Cheers, they replaced the female lead with another female lead who was like a total bitch. Was apparently like just better than the main male character or whatever. I don't get why people do it because it happens a lot and it really sucks. I can't think of any other times it happened in anime, but I know there's plenty more examples.
Question: you like Evangelion?
Uh,
You like the character Asuka?
I do.
Why is she an exception to the rule when she has done everything you mentioned?
You know, I don't know. I guess it's just the way they wrote her seems a bit more mature to me because all the other Cinderes are just like, fuck you, you're a man, I'm gonna punch you in the face. But with Asuka, it felt like they gave us a psychological profile of her and showed us why she was the way she is. And the more you learned about her, the more interesting of a character she became. And the relationship between those two developed in such an interesting way that by the end, it just like the climax of that relationship was so fascinating with the movies that nobody's watched but like me and a few like selected people that actually bothered watching those movies. The end of Evangelion. Uh, it's interesting. They couldn't do everything they wanted to do with it, but they had this really interesting card. I think that my friend got one of his platinum DVDs, and I haven't read the cards of my platinum DVDs. I don't know why, but apparently they had some really good information on them. But one of them said that the reason that in Asuka's mind, she's already in a relationship with Shinji, even though it is an established relationship. It's just like in her own ego and in her own head, she's in a relationship with him. That's
That's
why she's so pissed off at Ray.
that's so. Wow, that bitch is crazy.
I know, right? And they were able to experiment with that a lot more in the new movies. So I thought that was cool.
Speaking of stuff I really don't like to see in anime, I don't like to see not perverted characters per se, but the perverted situation and or the accidental pervert because it also
Yeah.
has the same problems with the Sundaries. Like a dude accidentally stumbles on into the wrong place at the wrong time. Mostly it's into a girl's locker room or at a bathhouse where the women are occupying it. They freak out and throw shit at him and think it's all his fault and think that he's a total scumbag. This wouldn't be a problem, but it happens in almost every anime I fucking watch. It happened in Persona 4 a couple of times. Even in the
It's
video games. I'm like, not Persona 3 too. God, knock it off.
it's super, 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 super fucking annoying. And the first time I experienced that was with Lovehina, and Lovehina is perhaps the worst offender. Everyone tells me the manga is better in that category,
I,
but I
I
don't even
told you,
care.
I read like in the middle of volume 3 and I immediately dropped it again. Like they resetted their arc, man. They were like, Naru and Keitaru were like studying. They're doing great. They're getting along with each other. They're going to Tokyo U together. They both failed the entrance exams and they're back to square effing one.
God forbid we have character development.
You know, I hate Love Hina and I've expressed my hatred towards it, but that doesn't mean I have any resentment against Ken Akamatsu. I enjoy Negima despite the stuff they put in there frustrate the shit out of me. Itadari My Santa, okay manga. Could have been a better OVA series. Could have been a movie, really. I should have just extended that to make the first episode extended it with a 90-minute movie plot. Um, I still enjoyed that. And Mao Chan, well, if he marketed as a children's manga, I would have understood. I would have understood it. Fortunately, it wasn't. It was a Moe Blob manga, but it had a very hilarious premise, which is why I checked it out in the first place. Um,
Yeah.
Apparently, it's about aliens are invading Japan. Here's the problem, though. They look fucking adorable. They're cute looking. And if the military ever attack them, they are seen as abusive and cruel. So, as a PR thing, the head of the military guys had their granddaughters fight against them with magic and stuff. Yeah, that's the premise.
That's pretty awesome.
And again, if
That's weird.
this, like, it was obviously like catering to those moe blob loving otakus, but if they just reworked it a little And I have read the entire manga from start to finish. They just reworked it a little. It could have been a all right kids series, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way,
I,
I found it to be a fun little read to pass through the time in college for me. I don't know if I could highly recommend it, but yeah.
I haven't seen a whole lot of his other work. I will say that Lovehina, I think, had a lot of concepts I would have loved to see in a show. I don't mind harem shows. I don't mind the fact that he owned the hotel and he had this childhood crush and he had all these women he had to deal with, and it was interesting.
I can.
If they got rid of the perverted humor and they got rid
I,
of
I
the
think.
tsundere,
I think I can. Well, you're never going to get rid of the perverted humor in the harem anime. Let's be completely fucking honest.
can
But
we at least get rid of the tsundere?
can we get rid of the tsundere? Potentially, yes. I don't think Tenchi had a tsundere in Tenchi universe.
He didn't. No one punched him into space.
Yeah, no
If
one
we had
punched
that
him when he
perverted
accidentally got transported into that bathhouse that was supposed to be interdimensional locked.
It was just a funny laugh. It was like
Yeah,
a ha, not
that
fuck
was
you.
like
We're
the only.
beating men because they're evil.
Well, anyways, what's that? This isn't just an anime about recommending shit anymore. This is just a podcast at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of turned into that.
Who cares? Let's keep going. I'm just having a lot more fun talking about this now.
All right. They had a perverted humor scene in Kaze no Stigma, and I really enjoyed it. And let's see if I can explain this correctly, because I suck at verbally telling stories. But they had this love triangle going where there's these two women and there's this dude, and so the dude is just sitting in this bathtub,
All right.
and it's a
He doesn't know
it,
names, by the way.
God damn it. It's a unisex bathtub. He's the main character. He's sitting there, and one of the women comes in and sees him, and she freaks out. She's like, "Oh shit, what are you doing?" And he's like, "This is a unisex bathtub, you idiot!" And he just like stands up to go do something, and she freaks out, and then he just like runs out. Then later on, she's freaking out about the other character in the love triangle, and then like she's like, "Oh man, I had the weirdest day. I saw that dude naked," and she was like, "What do you mean you saw him naked?" She's like, "Oh, I like completely turned it into something that was just made the other chick super jealous." And the entire episode was hilarious.
Huh. All
Terrible
right.
telling stories. I'm sorry.
Um. Man, why do I still like Sailor? Well, actually, I already did an entire video on Sailor Moon. I don't think I need to say any more about it. I am going to review the Sailor V manga though, eventually. Hopefully by next week. Um. Welcome to the NHK. You know what? I really want to recommend it to you. I think you may enjoy this if you like. Do you like an anime series about characters or a character or characters that are psychologically twisted?
Yes.
Oh, you're probably gonna love Welcome to NHK. The manga more so, although I don't know if I can recommend the manga because if I'm not mistaken, let me check. But I think Tokyo Pop licensed NHK, and
That is no good.
they went down. They
Is was Tokyo Pop like notorious for having bad translations, or was that someone else?
They might have, dude. Like I criticized Tokyo Pop's translation on the Ikitosen manga. I hated it because even though it did match it actually did match the tone of the series more, I still found it kind of ridiculous and juvenile.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, I can't. There were some lines that got me laughing, like when Hakufu threw her first punch. That was so hilarious what she said. Oh, I forgot you have a horrible memory. She said, first punch, first orgasm. Today I am a woman.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't have a horrible memory. All right, we read that forever ago.
How come
Did we read that to our viewers, or did we just read that to ourselves?
we never, dude, we could have read that to our viewers too back then,
We really could have.
but we didn't. Okay, let me check. Yeah, Welcome to NHK is, Tokyo Pop. And I'm checking Books A Million's website. They, I limited availability usually. I'm checking to see
But
if
I
they
do
have.
remember that scene, and I remember Hakufu not being a total moron for like the first like volume, and then like she slowly becomes flanderized throughout the series. But she was like started as a three-dimensional character, and then is slowly like diminished into nothing, which is like the opposite in the anime.
Huh, yeah. Um, what other things can we talk about? Let's just keep this rolling. Let's see if we can get an hour in.
Okay,
Okay, well, okay. Back to Welcome to the NHK. We haven't really talked much about it. I did recommend it. I have recommended it to you. We have seen that one guy's review of it, and even though he
mm,
spoiled the entire fucking series,
I don't remember the ending, so as long
good.
as no one respoils it, I'm
Okay.
good.
Funimation did relicense and redistributed it. I think they have a save version that's like $30 for 26 episodes. Both the anime and the manga are good. There are some differences. Most of the manga actually have better stuff about it. Like their protagonist, their female protagonist, Misaki, she was
Mm.
kind of a normal girl in the anime. In the manga, she was a little more stalker-ish. Like, you find out in the middle of volume 2 that she actually planted a bug in his room so she could spy in on some conversations.
That's so creepy.
I know. When I first saw that, I'm like, what the fuck? And it was so funny that I don't know. When these characters were getting so disturbed, I was just chuckling instead of like being creeped out.
I love the like super like attractive nice girl character that always turns out to be like a crazy weirdo. I love those characters in anime.
Dead Space, Silence Made Epic. Don't mind me. I'm just skimming through the Sailor V manga, pretending to read it. I need to reread both volumes so I can get a clear, coherent, discussion about the manga.
I've been meaning to read Sailor V. We've had quite the adventure in debating on whether Sailor Moon was a good series or not over the years, and
I
you made me watch that god awful live action series.
I still say yes. You said no. About the anime, not the live action. Yeah, the live action. I am so sorry. I am
It's
so sorry.
it's so bad, and you kept wanting to watch more.
I sometimes when an anime is bad enough, I do want to go in further into the rabbit hole of shit.
We hated that so much. We ended up like writing a parody of it that we never released to the public, but
Oh
we're going
yeah.
to.
Oh well. I don't want people to know, man. I want to be credited as Alan Smithy. Oh, please tell me you get the reference.
No.
Alan Smithy was basically a pseudonym directors use when they don't want to be credited for their work because they're that ashamed of it.
Maybe that's what Kevin Smith should have done for Cop Out. God, Cop Out is. Why did that happen?
Like,
Why is Tracy Morgan a thing?
I don't know. Well, let's not talk about Tracy Morgan, please.
Okay.
All right. Haruhi Suzumiya.
You know,
She's
a lot of
Bleach.
people got on that anime's ass just for having a ton of tropes, but I don't think the anime suffered on it, for it at all.
Do tell, because I've heard this anime is big. I heard a lot of people got on that anime's ass, but for different reasons.
Well, I mean, the most common trope I heard was that Haruhi was a what do they call it? A Mary Sue,
Ah,
perfect at everything, which I honestly disagreed with because I think to be perfect at everything, you have to literally be perfect. Like everyone has to see you as like the greatest human being ever. But it was very clear in the series that Haruhi was a total asshole, and the
yeah.
characters knew that.
Most of the characters did. Keon and the computer club especially. But hard, but I will agree that she's an asshole. No disagreements there for people who hate the anime because of her.
That is true. If you hate it because she's an asshole, I guess that's understandable. But it didn't bother me too much, and I found the relationship between her and the male lead to be
Yeah,
interesting.
he's not good with names.
I'm, I'm not good at Japanese names. I'm really terrible at them. I don't remember any of them.
I don't know. They're just easy for me, man.
I guess it's 'cause I don't watch as much anime as everyone else. I guess I'm just not used to remembering their names. And a lot of these, what we're talking about, I saw like forever ago too. So
Oh man, you used to watch so much anime when you were a kid, did you?
everything on Tanami. I watched Tanami, and when I was a kid is when my first anime I ever bought was Evangelion with my parents' money, and then my mom refused to buy me any more past like DVD too because it was too expensive. And as soon as I got my first job, I heard about this really inexpensive place that sells anime, and I'm like, I'd really want to get back to watching Evangelion because I still remembered how awesome it was from when I was 13. And so that's when I met my friend Patrick, and he took me down there. And I went up there with like one DVD, and they were like, anime's on discount. Like DVDs are $2 for all anime. And I was like, I love you, and went back and bought like all the anime, and came back and bought all that stuff. I really creeped the sales guy out when I said I loved him. I don't think he got the
You
joke.
actually said that?
Yes, yes, I did, and it freaked him right the fuck out. He
If
like he was like, "It's on sale," and I was like, "Oh my God, I love you," and he was like, "Oh."
if it makes you feel any better, when I was around your age, I did call an employee from Best Buy a saint.
Really? Did it freak him out?
No, he actually smiled and said, "I'm just doing my job." Here's the thing. This is not anime related. It's actually video game related. This was like on the weekend, on Christmas weekend. Um, I finally got my Nintendo GameCube, and I got two of the three games I requested: Luigi's Mansion, Rogue Squadron. Love them both. I played both of those games almost religiously throughout those 2 days. Luigi's Mansion, especially, I got through the game quickly. Friday afternoon, like almost after beating Luigi's Mansion, actually, I get a phone call from my buddy, JD, and I call him. I was like, "Dude, did you get your GameCube?" He's like, "Yeah, I got my GameCube." It's like, "Did you get Smash Brothers Melee?" He goes, "No. In fact, we're going to get it right now." I'm like, "Tag me along, motherfucker!" And and then so we went to drive at the Toys R Us to find a copy of Smash Bros. Melee. Nothing. We drove over to the Babbages, which is another GameStop with a funnier name.
Yeah.
Nothing. I think we went to a Walmart. Nothing. We like hit a lot of stores, and then we actually walked from the Walmart to the Best Buy, which was a long, which is actually a long walks away, and we had to cross a pretty busy street. And we were both just almost defeated. We were about to lose our sanity. Keep in mind, we were 13 years old at the time. We were freaking crazy, and he even said he swore on his great grandmother's grave that if he didn't get the game, he'd go insane. But we were like, man, I hope they have this game, man. I really do. And so we went to the Best Buy. We didn't see the game on the shelves. We asked the guy if they had a copy. He went to the back and luckily had like 6 copies on stack, and we each grabbed one, got the game, and then we just played the shit out of it for the entire weekend. So, and
uh,
and I did call him a saint. I was like, "You're a saint."
that's awesome.
Oh,
I have a really strange nerd purchase story as well.
okay.
Um, way back when I wanted to actually learn how to draw anime in high school, me and my friend were in the comic book store. We just discovered there was a comic book store in the mall, and we were there for like just hours on end looking at these how to draw books, just annoying the hell out of the guy who was there, just hoping we would buy stuff and leave. And we were there just for hours and hours and hours. And finally, we were like, okay, we're gonna buy these two. And he's like, oh, finally, I can, you could see the relief in his face. I don't have to deal with these stupid kids anymore in my store looking at all these books. We take out our money to buy these two how to draw books, and we're like, oh, we're sorry, we're one penny short. He just has the most pissed off look on his face. Like he just like turned completely red. He was just like, just take him and get out of my store.
Oh man. I wish I had some. I don't think I have anything to top that purchase store. Um, I yeah, I got nothing. That's a pretty funny story, and I can see from the customer's perspective, why I can find that annoying. I used to work at an arcade. I had a bunch of teenagers loiter around, and I had to close the store soon. I could tell. I can relate to that guy in some way. You probably could too, since you used to work at a store that we shall not name because you hated that much.
Yeah. Um,
But when it comes to
that those
buying
dark
shit, I'm just
times.
completely shameless. Like if they ever do like make a redub re-release of Sailor Moon, if it's in like frilly pink, if it's like a really pink girly box set, I'll pick it up and buy it. Like I remember my buddy Inotech, you probably saw him in an old bunch of videos that we used to do on Blip TV. Small, skinny, tan dude with the big nose. Um, he has an anime called Magical Meow Meow Taruto, which is a cat girl anime. And I just remember him, just he bought it one day, and a lot of people gave him a funny look, but he didn't care. He's like, "Oh, what? You think I'm not that much of a man? You need your copy of God of War to make yourself feel macho?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just. Speaking of frilly purchases, I picked up a Western comic book called DramaCon. I've been seeing this from time to time at random bookstores, but for some reason I didn't feel motivated to pick it up. But Tokyo Pop released a hard copy omnibus. I'm holding it right now. In fact, that's me knocking on it. And I remember looking at the back. I'm looking at premise, the plot premise. So I'm like, and I even skimmed through the pages a little. I'm like, I may be able to enjoy this, so I'm gonna buy it. And it was only $20. As you can tell, I'll buy almost anything that's $20 or less. Trust me, anything. Well, at least in the
Anything.
oh, yeah, anything.
You're like, I don't need this, but I'm gonna
Here's the
buy it anyway.
funny thing: if you were to take a look at this book, this manga right now, it's pink. It's all pink, dark purple, and it's huge. It is, yeah, it's about half a size more than this Sailor V manga I'm holding right now. It's so big you could probably use it to whack people across the face if you put enough force into it. And it's probably if I were like to stack up my manga, this would be the one that will stick out the most. But I didn't give a shit.
I'm absolutely terrified of buying anything frilly or too sexual from the comic store or the bookstore. Like, I'm a really big fan of fan service. Like, anything that goes super mature, I'm okay with it. And I've seen manga at the store before where I was just like, oh man, this actually looks really good, but there's a lot of boobs and things in it. And so I just don't buy it on that premise because I'm worried I'm gonna like get up to the counter and there's gonna be like some uber feminist there and it's just for like, you want fries with your misogyny, and then I'll be sad.
Man, I would have just played along and said, yes, extra large, please.
Extra large, and you can supersize my misogyny.
Super sad such. But man, I don't give a shit. Somebody gonna make fun of me for reading a particular manga, how girly or perverted it may be. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Okay.
I mean, I should be that way too because I'm like the lord of H games. We were going through that H game library that
My
one
God,
day.
you actually are going to admit to people that you are the Lord of H games.
Why, yes, I
Sure
am.
you don't want me to cut this out?
No, it's okay.
Okay,
We were gonna.
change your
I mean,
fucking mind while I'm editing this, by the way, after we're done.
well, I mean, we even had that. We even had that thing where we were gonna like. I was gonna review that one H game, but it never came about.
Okay, we'll continue on with your story.
I forgot what I was saying.
You said you shouldn't feel ashamed because you are. You are the Lord. The
The Lord of H games, yes.
Lord of H games.
But we were on Right Stuff, just all like, let's look at the H games just for the hell of it. And we were looking through them on Right Stuff, and like I didn't realize how many of them I'd actually played. So we're going through them, and I'm just like, I've played it. I played that one. I played that one. And Darcy was just like, damn, you played a lot of these.
You did, man. It's like I never heard of this stuff before because I don't play H games. I'm just browsing with you, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, what's this anime? What's this game about? About this dude when as a high school teacher, blah blah blah. And you're like, oh, I know about that one. It's okay.
Yeah, I actually had opinions on them and everything.
How about this one? Oh man, there was just too much story to bog down. Fuck. You know too much.
There's something strange going on here.
Neighborhood. We go.
I I actually had no idea you could have visual novels without the H. So someone was telling me they were making a visual novel game on DeviantArt, and I was like, "Oh wow, I'm surprised you actually do that sort of stuff." And they're like, "Well, there's not going to be any like hentai in it." I'm like, "That's possible? I didn't know."
Dude, Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. I recommended that to you.
I guess that's true. There is
That's a
that,
visual novel that isn't a hentai.
but it does have really cool saw puzzle solving elements too.
Yeah, I do enjoy that game a lot. It sucks though because after playing that Persona 4 Golden, there really isn't that much in the PSP library that I'm interested in.
Yeah,
PS
hopefully they release more.
PS Vita, and yeah, I agree. I hope they release better titles. I really do want Zero Escape 3 to be released soon.
I'm super pissed off that the next Persona game is only coming out for the 3DS.
First off, that's not the next Persona game. That's the next Shin Megami Tensei game.
All right.
It's not related to the Persona series. It's part of the same franchise, but it's not. But it's not related to the series.
How, what is, what is that? How do they differ?
Um, Storyline, characters.
Like, do they still go slay magical beasts and stuff,
Well,
or?
they do, but it's not going to high school, living your daily life thing. You're just dungeon crawling throughout most of the game.
Oh,
Like
that sounds like fun.
the Shin Megami Tensei, it's a is it a meta franchise? It has like several different franchises under its wing. Like how Mega Man has the original Mega Man X, Battle Network, Legends. Well, this one has like the regular Shin Megami Tensei series or the Megami Tensei series. Then it also has the Last Bible series. Then it also has Devil Summoner, Devil Survivor, Persona. Yeah, for a guy who just got into the to the Persona series, I can quickly pick up on the franchise. Like if you give me anything with a big lore behind it, I can research it within a weekend's time, and if you quizzed me on it, I am guaranteed to score a 90% or more.
You're good at the trivia games.
I dominate the trivia games.
I'm not good at thinking of things on the spot.
Of course not. You're not even good at memorizing people's names. By the way, what's Shinji's dad's name again?
It's Gendo Akari, okay?
Before we started recording, he actually blinked the fuck out on that.
I mean, I'm just terrible. I I'm great with computer stuff. I can memorize computer stuff easy. I'm a straight A student. I can go to college, just completely ace anything that deals with computers or writings. I'm great at academic stuff, but in terms of entertainment and social stuff, I cannot memorize a thing for some reason. You figure it'd be the other way around, but
Which is weird because
it's
you're a
not.
guy who likes to analyze films and critique them, not like a critic who likes to point out flaws and stuff, but as a guy who just you like movies more than I do, man. You love the movie Super. You know,
Oh yeah.
you love all that, and for some reason you will blank out on character names or actor names.
There's something with my brain where I just don't think names are important. And I guess it runs in the family because my dad can't remember like names either of people. Like he'll pass people at work that he's worked with for 20 years, and they'll be like, "Hey, Mike," and he'll be like, "Hey, you."
What's going on, partner?
Ex-
I ain't
Exactly.
partner. Of course you are, Buckaroo.
And I'm the same way. I ask people's names as if I care. Like I'll meet them and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm Sean. Who are you?" And if I'm talking to a girl, she might be like, "I'm Cindy," and I won't even be listening at all. Like it just will not even register. It's weird.
This podcast is going to be so long, nobody will listen to it to the very end.
We should we should have a treat at the end.
I don't know what can we treat them with.
I'll
We,
post I'll
we went
post
from
a
talking
pic of
about
anime.
anime, now we're just sharing BS stories. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if we should do this weekly or not. Probably not. We can never do things. We we can never do a set schedule thing.
I'm always trying to. Well, at least back when I was super into YouTube, I had my short shit series, and it was I was trying to do a daily episode, an episode a day, and it worked for like I think a week or 2 weeks, and then I just canceled the series outright and never did it again.
God, why'd you do that?
I don't remember. I think it was because I had a hard time thinking about what to talk about next. But I mean, it worked. Posting every day really works. Like my ratings, not my ratings, but my
Viewership.
viewers
All right.
consistently
Yeah.
climbing.
I think I'm ready to sum everything up here. Like I said, if you do want to recommend some anime to me, post comments or a video response. But like I said, man, if you recommend it, I've probably already seen it. That goes for sci-fi shows like Nadesico and Captain Tyler as well. Um, but
Yeah.
Multifire, he likes something with plot. I'll just quickly list off the shit you like.
List it off again. Please recommend anything you like to me. I'm not that well versed in anime. I'm sure some of you like things that I've never heard of before. But I like, the underground society and super soldier plots and all that stuff.
And
I like
Mecha.
plots. Wait, what?
And Mecha.
And Mecha, yeah. And I like plots that revolve around a team where all the characters are important. I love giant robots. I love monsters. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi and future. And if you can satisfy any or all of those, I would love to hear about it. But please make sure you leave out a series lasting longer than 50 episodes. Leave out some dairies with a few exceptions. Absolutely no lollies. If school setting, it cannot involve a harem or a tsundere. And I hate plots where one character just becomes super overpowered and leaves everyone else in the dust.
As for me, I prefer shows that are not too complex or story driven, have a good balance of action or comedy, as well as plot and characters. Especially if you're an action anime of some sort. Uh, don't try to be too, I don't like it. I don't like it when things are bogged down explaining everything from like the lore to fucking attack patterns. I'm more of a show not tell kind of guy, and avoiding the accidental pervert scenarios. If it happens just at least once in the show, fine. But if this is like a recurring gag in a comedy, screw that shit. And yeah, I prefer an anime in the 26 episode range, but if it's like 50 episodes or less in between that, I'm cool with it. And I like the fantasy and sci-fi genres. But again, like I said, if you recommend it to me, I probably already seen it, but thanks for trying. I'll give you that much. I'll let you know if I have seen it or not.
Going into this cocky.
Yes. Well, that's all I have to say. Is Darkscream 217 signing out.
This is Multifire. I'll see you in future videos.